Welcome to Banglar Sultans, where history's most powerful moments come alive. Today, we dive into a secret that changed humanity forever. The Great Depression. October 29, 1929. A day that would forever be etched in our memories as Black Tuesday. On Wall Street, panic spread like wildfire, and in mere hours, billions vanished. Millionaires in the morning found themselves broke by nightfall. Some stood in disbelief, clutching worthless stock papers, while others simply walked away. They stepped out of the buildings, into the streets, and into the pages of history. Little did they know, this day would spark the greatest economic disaster the modern world had ever faced. The 1920s, known as the Roaring Twenties, was a time of incredible energy and excitement. America was booming, filled with jazz, fast cars, and towering skyscrapers. People believed prosperity was endless, and the economy seemed unstoppable. From bankers to farmers, everyone was diving into the stock market. By 1928, even small-town shopkeepers were borrowing money to invest in stocks. They hoped prices would keep climbing, chasing the dream of wealth. But beneath the glitz, the economy was fragile and unstable. Wages were stagnant, and farms were overproducing, struggling to keep up. The wealth that fueled this dream was concentrated in the hands of just a few. On October 24, 1929, everything changed on what we now call Black Thursday. Prices began to drop, and panic set in among investors. They rushed to sell, fearing the worst. Even the big names like J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller tried to step in, buying stocks to restore some confidence. But it was too late. The damage was done. Then came Black Tuesday, October 29th, when over 16 million shares were traded in a single day. Prices plummeted, and the market crashed. Banks failed, and factories shut their doors. In just weeks, fortunes evaporated into thin air. And within months, unemployment soared to staggering heights. By 932, 1 in 4 Americans found themselves without work. Families stood in long breadlines, waiting for just a bowl of soup. Children begged for scraps outside restaurants, their eyes filled with hope. People lost their homes, creating shantytowns from scrap wood and tin. They called them Hoovervilles, a jab at President Hoover's inaction. Meanwhile, the land turned against the farmers in the Midwest. Years of deep plowing led to disaster when drought struck. The Dust Bowl was a man-made catastrophe, devastating the earth. Great clouds of dirt rolled across Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. Crops withered, livestock suffocated, and families were uprooted. They packed their lives into old cars, heading west to California, seeking survival. John Steinbeck would later capture their struggles in The Grapes of Wrath. The Great Depression wasn't just about money lost. It shattered trust. People rushed to withdraw their savings, fearing the worst. Banks collapsed under the weight of those withdrawals. In an instant, millions lost everything they had worked for. There was no federal insurance to catch them when they fell. If your bank failed, your life savings vanished into thin air. Factories shut down, leaving workers in despair. International trade ground to a halt, isolating economies. The entire global economy spiraled into chaos, from Europe to Asia. In 1932, Americans were searching for hope. They chose Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who promised a New Deal for the American people. When FDR took office, he addressed a nation gripped by fear. He famously said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." In his first 100 days, Roosevelt launched bold initiatives to rebuild America. The Civilian Conservation Corps created jobs for young men, planting trees and restoring parks. The Works Progress Administration built vital infrastructure like roads and schools. The Social Security Act of 1935 established pensions for the elderly and support for the unemployed. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insured bank accounts, restoring trust in banks. For the first time, the government regulated Wall Street to prevent future economic collapses. In the darkest times, the spirit of America shone bright. Musicians like Woody Guthrie sang for the struggles of the people. His words echoed, "I ain't got no home in this world anymore." Photographers like Dorothea Lange captured haunting images of migrant mothers and starving children, faces that defined a generation. Neighbors shared what little they had, showing true resilience. Communities came together, building hope from hunger. And slowly, painfully, America began to heal. By the late 1930s, the New Deal had given millions a chance to work, but unemployment was still a heavy burden. It wasn't until World War II broke out in Europe that the economy began to truly revive. Factories sprang back to life, churning out weapons and machinery for the war effort. Men went off to fight, while women stepped into roles like never before. Rosie the Riveter became a symbol of strength. By 1945, America had transformed from depression to prosperity, but the scars of hunger and fear lingered. The Great Depression reshaped our world in profound ways. It taught governments the critical need for market regulation. It laid the groundwork for social safety nets that support us even today. It sparked modern economic policy, moving us toward a system that values stability and fairness. Above all, it showed us that even when everything collapses, banks, jobs, dreams, the strength of people united can rebuild a nation. Out of the darkest times, FDR once said, comes the courage to build a better future. The 1920s were a time of economic boom and stock speculation. But then came 1929, the stock market crash, known as Black Tuesday. From 1930 to 1933, America faced soaring unemployment, the Dust Bowl, and bank failures. In 1933, FDR was elected, and the New Deal reforms began to take shape. By the late 1930s, we saw a partial recovery, but it wasn't over yet. World War II, 1941 to 1945, revived our economy, bringing full strength back. FDR's legacy includes Social Security, labor rights, and regulated banking. He renewed faith in democracy, reminding us that hope can emerge from despair. What do you think about FDR's vision for a better future? Share your thoughts below.